But like Ravneet, we should actually, probably connect after the session and see, know
Hey
each
guys,
each other. Like,
Prashant,
yeah.
please be
Oh,
quiet a little bit for me. Okay, guys, we're back on our digital summit, and I see two distinguished persons here, Prashant Surana and Ravni Kaur. Ravni, going to be, yes, a moderator of this event. The stage is yours, and I want to remind the topic is about how to take action and how to create a more diverse blockchain ecosystems, mass adoption, and scalability. The stage is yours. Go ahead.
Thank you so much for that, Sergey. And guys, welcome to Digital Week Online. As Sergey just mentioned, the topic of this panel is how to take action to create more diverse blockchain ecosystem, mass adoption, and scalability. Now, today we have a very distinguished panelist from my hometown, Prashant Suran Jain, who is the co-founder of Snapper Future Tech. Hi, Prashant, and welcome to the panel.
thank you so much, Ravneet, and thank you so much, Sergey, and the entire Digital Week team for having us here. It's really my pleasure to be here on the second time, and really look forward for the session today.
Lovely. And guys, just to introduce myself, my name is Ravneet. I am from Australia. I am a principal at a crypto fund based out of Australia. And I have recently launched a community in India to drive mass adoption and support users with free education to help them understand why Bitcoin, why cryptocurrency, why blockchain is the future. So the angle that we're taking is going super native language. So let's get straight into it, Prashant. Now we know that blockchain's potential for improving business processes, for providing transactional transparency, and for reducing operational costs, it's just something that is obvious to everyone.
Right.
We can go on about the benefits of blockchain all day. But why is it that the mass adoption hasn't really kicked off? And I guess more importantly, as the panel topic suggests itself, what are the actions that we need to take in order to create a more diverse blockchain ecosystem? So Prashant, what would be great is perhaps you could even maybe introduce yourself and talk about your work a little bit, and then maybe let's just jump straight into it.
Yeah, sure. So I have been, pursuing entrepreneurship since I was 14 years old. I moved into blockchain way back in 2016 after my first successful exit with an AI company. So one of the key fundamental reasons why I moved into blockchain was that because I believe that everything around internet is completely evolving around data, and blockchain was one of those technologies which was using data as an asset. And I could see that need that okay, enterprises, businesses, and customers, users, I mean everybody who is connected to the internet somewhere, I mean obviously they use data, and there is a great potential on how you could track and trace and utilize the data using blockchain technology. And apart from that, I also have a decent experience because I've been investing in some of the few cutting edge technology companies into AI, blockchain, cloud, big data, IoT. And I feel that blockchain could sit on the top of these technologies, and therefore provide a greater value driven ecosystem as we are moving from internet of information to internet of value. This is a bit of my background. I took some of the craziest risk in 2016, investing everything into cryptos and specifically bitcoins, and I think that paid off well because of the key fundamental belief which we have about decentralization and things like that. So getting straight to the topic, right, why we are not straight seeing the mass adoption, I think one of the key reasons is that like a lot of myth around these technologies, like specifically blockchain, right? A lot of businesses and enterprises feel that blockchain is overhyped because we already have one of these traditional databases and all of these traditional data structures, and they feel that we don't need decentralization, or we don't need any other data infrastructure which is sitting on the top of that. So that is first reason. The other thing is that a lot of businesses, enterprises, and I think they still take blockchain from Bitcoin perspective, Ethereum perspective, and only proof of work perspective. So they feel that blockchain is not scalable. I think that is reason number two. But I feel is that since we have so many protocols and so many open source technologies in place, that you could use, technologies or frameworks like sharding to kind of solve the scalability issues and actually use pluggable consensus, like which actually suits your business use case. So that is number two why I feel that blockchain hasn't kicked off fundamentally. The third reason is that I think there has been a lot of negative stuff which has happened around the crypto industry over the past few years. Some of the scams, some of the hacks, and there is always this kind of a, I would say that businesses and enterprises are scared that okay like what if if my data gets hacked and all of that. And fourth reason is that like they feel that if I mean, there is not, kindly any need of like, really decentralization, because every enterprise is like specifically decentralized bodies would want to be, kind of in control, of their data. So I think these are the few areas why this, we are seeing some time, in getting to the mass adoption.
Yeah, thank you for that, Prashant. And everything that you just mentioned around the myths that it's overhyped, there's no need for the blockchain technology, it's not scalable, and especially in India, I can speak from experience, the amount of scams that came, I feel like all of it goes back to lack of education and just people in all different levels, whether we're talking about a normal, a guy who's not in crypto or someone who's an enterprise. It is sort of lack of education around how these processes work. That your points definitely resonate there. We'll just welcome Danielle here as well. Hello, Danielle. Thank you for joining us.
Hello, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Can you hear me?
Yes, all good, Danielle. So guys, yeah. Danielle is the founder of DT Circle Ecosystem. Danielle, you haven't missed much. We just took a straight deep dive into, what are some of the, I guess, reasons that are stopping mass adoption of blockchain. I mean, we can talk about blockchain's benefits all day. And Prashant mentioned some really, really good points around the fact that there's a myth that blockchain is overhyped, that there is no need. We're happy with our current ledgers, our current systems of how we're managing data. Blockchain is unscalable. And then let's not forget the scams and the hacks that came, and that just switched off people, for a very, very long time. So I guess what would be wonderful from your end, Danielle, is if you could tell us a little bit about yourself, and then perhaps we can, jump into your thoughts on why, on I guess how we can create a more diverse blockchain ecosystem.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, I have some problem with my audio. So can you repeat the question, please?
Yeah, absolutely. Danielle, could you tell us a little bit about yourself, what you're doing in the space? And then perhaps you can tell us a little bit about the future of blockchain-based ecosystems and, how you envision on the steps that we need to take to create that ecosystem.
Oh, okay. About the blockchain, and now I'm looking for some ecosystem around the world. And in my project, for example, I'm looking for blockchain technology as a technology for certifying some important data of users. I want just to explain you in few words what is my project. Imagine that now any people that is using web is generating data every time for Google or Facebook, right? So this company are taking data and using the big data to advertising or to manipulate the people for some choices and some looking for. In my ecosystem, I'm taking data from users that are using web application messaging apps. They can look inside a blockchain system exactly which type of data they are generating, the value of data they are generating, and when the company is selling this data, they can have a cryptocurrency really spendable and usable directly in their wallet, thanks to the blockchain system based on the value of data generated. So this is just one of an example of use of blockchain, because what I see in the past that we need to teach to people the right use of blockchain technology, because people, the problem now is that is looking to blockchain just for cryptocurrencies and speculation, but I think that is so stupid to look at this important technology just for this. So I'm honored to stay here, because I understand that you are not looking at blockchain and technology just for cryptocurrencies, but for a real use of blockchain for the next future. But it's important, your job and our job, to teach people and all people in the world to learn what is the blockchain potential and what is the right blockchain use. Otherwise, the risk is that we can't go in a mass adoption, because people continue to look at blockchain just for a little part of this, just for cryptocurrency, and that's it. And I think that it is now a really big problem that we have now with blockchain.
Yeah, absolutely. Daniel, thank you for that. Some really, interesting, good points that you've touched there.
Sorry for my English. I know that my English is not so perfect. I hope that you are understanding me.
Tu parli italiano?
Molto bene, sono italiano.
That's all I know. That's all I know. The only thing I know how to say in Italian is, can you speak Italian? And then I confuse people because they think I can, but I can't.
Imagine that the main problem is Italian, because you have to know that in Italy, for example, people is starting to look at blockchain technology just starting for 2 years ago, and just for speculation. So I am really difficult to stay here and to teach people that blockchain is more and more than simply cryptocurrencies and speculation. And I hope that all speakers agree with me. And this is what we have to do now.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that, Danielle. And now let's go over to you, Prashant. Let's talk a little bit about, I guess, our hometown, India. And, I am a firm believer that necessity is the mother of invention. And while the world has been given this beautiful next level technology, which we're still trying to figure out, it can go, the use cases are thousands, but where do you start? And I firmly believe that as systems maybe start to break traditional systems, and as people cry out that we need more and more, we need something new now, I feel like that's where we will see a quick adoption of blockchain. So for example, right now in India, I don't know, Danielle, if you may know, but Prashant, there's like farmer protests going on, and there's like the agriculture aspect. And I mean, that's where I really see blockchain coming in and really solving for the issue of supply and demand, which is currently an issue right now in the agriculture sphere. But I guess it would be interesting to hear from your perspective, from the insights on blockchain landscape from I guess from India, for scalability purposes. How can we scale this tech?
See, the most and the important thing, as you rightly said, that necessity is the mother of all invention. It's also very important to have that open mindset. And if we just look back, we have to understand the fact that India has been producing some really amazing, cool tech talents. I mean, we supply like resources to the whole world. And I think, everyone, like every second or third person working across the globe into IT or technology is Indian, right? But one of the key things is that I think we are more of a, we look at everything more from service perspective rather than product and innovation perspective, is something which is, kind of, pulling us back. the other reason why what I see is that the mindset, right? I mean, see, everybody is it's just like, saying that, okay, I am existing happy with my, Mini Cooper and stuff like that. So why do I need Tesla, right? But I need Tesla because Tesla is like really fast, it's really secure. It's like my computer on the wheels, right? But that's why I need Tesla. So I think people have to understand that perspective or a mindset that, okay, you have all these existing technologies. I mean, okay, in the past you might have used distributed computing, and all of these technologies must have exist. But blockchain is a technology which is providing a backbone to you to connect, with different kinds of suite of other technologies and other use cases, right? Let's say, for a very simple example, right? If you look at any enterprise, or if you look at a pure play supply chain use case where a goods move from a farmer to the end customer, one of the key challenges here is that I think they all work in silos, right? Though we had all these ERPs which we could have implemented and brought back all of them onto the same platform, but still we have failed. I mean, ERPs are not as successful as in the end customers or end user perspective than the enterprise side. We have to understand that over 80% of the businesses which run in India are still SMEs and MSMEs, right? And then obviously they can't afford to go with all of these complicated with ERPs. So one of these technologies which you would always look at is obviously blockchain, right? Because blockchain would help you to kind of create one of those trusted bridge between one side of a thing to other side and other and next like that. So that way, it just makes things so simple and so transparent that if I'm using smart contracts, and let's say, for example, governments and everyone is connected onto a same ecosystem, I know that the smart contract would trigger any of these parameters if any of these events happen, because I have all these data points. And the fact that these data points are not controlled by any party, they are like individual events which is happening, would make a lot of sense. So as a farmer, I don't have to worry about any of these justice systems and go and file a case, right? I could just rely on a technology which is driven by data. So once we start looking at things from that perspective, I think a massive change will happen. And already we have seen that in India, like, government and, everybody has now started to realize that what blockchain could do for public service delivery. But again, the roots of, corruption and certain things which exist so deep into the society, it just pushes back from, kind of implementing it. So I think we are going through a cleansing process than more of a implementing process. The mindset is there, the technology is there, and a lot of great entrepreneurs are putting in a lot of efforts in building something like that. So this is my take on that.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you for that, Prashant. I can agree the crypto community is growing strong and strong in India and globally, but as we saw with the RBI case, they did not leave RBI alone. They took them right to the court, and that's
Right.
definitely appreciated. So Daniel, let's go over to you. Let's have a little bit chat about the DT coin that you have created. Now, DT coin, it is set to monetize users' experience and therefore their data. And going back with like blockchain-based ecosystems, how do you at DT Circle plan to do this?
Okay, imagine that DT coin is just the engine inside the DT Circle ecosystem. You have to imagine DT Circle like a container where a lot of technologies that exist and will exist used for generating and analyzing big data. That's why the circle will be used from the members. Also, DT Circle wants to be the reference for a big community for all the people that today, with their online browsing and presence on social networks, are generating data that are worth billions of dollars, and because of which they who generate them are the victims, not the clients of the company. They are the products. So DT Circle wants to make the world understand that today, all of us connected to the web with smartphones in our hand, like me in this moment, and not only customer, but really we are the product for the companies like Google or Facebook. We are mentally manipulated every day to ensure that we spend more and more time with our devices in the hand to generate more and more big data that will be used to influence our personal choices in every sector, from fashion to behavior, from politics to information. We are feeding all this every day, and yet that billions of dollars worth is not recognized. So not only do they steal data from us without paying us, they use it against us. So DT Circle wants to make every user aware of the data it is generating and its value. Wants to redistribute the value of the data to those who generating it, and it wants to do in an ethical and transparent way, thanks to the blockchain. To better understand, DT Circle wants to ensure that every web user can tell the major players a question like this: oh, Mr. Google, do you want my data? Well done. This is their value. I want this to be partly recognized to me. This is why we are developing messaging apps and browser extension included in a blockchain system that can check and control any data you are generating, and you, with your account, you can control the quality and quantity of data you are generating, having a revenue for all data you are generating. So if someone is wondering if this system could work, the real question, in my opinion, is you are now giving your data for free to those who mentality manipulating you. Do you prefer to continue like this, or you want to change your vision, having awarded for this? The answer is obvious, and this is why I'm using blockchain. So any people that is using web can have a clear data about their value anytime in they are navigating online. And GT coin is the coin we are using to give to people's a part of profit of the data they are generating with the coin that can be spendable and exchangeable really in shops for the same products that the social network proposed to you.
Yeah, yeah. That's amazing that you're building that product, because it's inevitable. It's the future. Someone's going to do it anyway. This is where we're like, people are getting smarter, and people, it's just
people, because it's a big fight with Google, Facebook, but
yeah.
If we are able to make a very big community, I think that we can win.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I think that's a very good point here, that which is what I focus on. I specialize on building communities. And I think if you have a community strong enough, firm believers, early adopters, you can drive any idea forward. And I feel like that is definitely one of the crucial keys towards mass adoption. And another thing you mentioned is, that users will be getting rewarded for their data, which is a massive gap in the system right now. That is how the system is broken at the moment, and tech giants have made sure of that. So that's another thing, is that rewards program, or giving some sort of rewards to users. I definitely do think that is a key to mass adoption, because no one says no to free money or free tokens. That's why airdrops are so big. They blew up. So I guess, last point, and then we can kind of wrap the conversation here, is around mass adoption. Now, Prashant, India is a very, very interesting market, because there's 1.2 billion people, but then I think there's like 700 to 900 million people that are using some sort of tech, that have smartphones, if I'm correct. So how can we drive mass adoption of crypto in India? Or let's use India as a case study.
So I would say that, first of all, we have to be open to failures. I think India is one of those markets. If you look at in the past, a lot of technologies companies have actually failed to, penetrate due to some or the other reasons. Because tapping 700, 800 million people coming from different backgrounds, different mindsets, where, even education and literacy is a challenge, is something where you have to really tackle upon. And, like, to every entrepreneurs who really want to enter into India, even myself, one of the key things which I would look at is like to just start small. You have to start so lean that you just focus on one case study, one specific use case. Because if you're looking at 800 million people, of course there are like other millions of people like you who are suffering from a similar problem. So before you think about anything on how you want to penetrate the market, I think the entry point has to be very, very simple. The kind of problem which you're trying to solve has to be so impactful that it creates an impact for at least those set of your initial users, and from there of course you could scale up. The other thing is that what I feel is that the good part about Indian ecosystem is that in terms of regulators, the regulators here are kind of really very open. If you really have some good intentions, you could really be part of some of these government run incubators, and you actually drive cryptos and blockchains and stuff like that in a sandbox environment, and kind of scale up, because that's this other way to kind of scale up more from regulatory perspective. The third and the most important thing is that the good part about crypto, which I really like, is that you actually have the power to create your own money, right? The revolution which impacts money happens in like millions of years. Our money has come like maybe evolved for over 2000 years, from a barter system to gold back to fiat to gold reserve and whatnot, and today we are using an open source of money. So I think your money has to be programmed in such a way that people who come from a technological background could actually kind of go and evaluate and see that, okay, this system is kind of fair, though currency has certain fluctuations, but I could obviously rely on this project because they have all of these open source, and it's like community driven and community rewarding. So I think these are the small steps to kind of tap into India. And of course, you have to be really very patient and be open to, kind of failures. And investors also backing into any of these projects and ventures have to believe in the quality of entrepreneurs and the problem they're trying to solve. Because as Jack Ma says, today can be worse, tomorrow might be worse, but day after tomorrow is sunshine. And India is definitely that market.
Yeah, absolutely. And the amount of entrepreneurs that we have seen, the surge in the numbers, it's phenomenal. And people are very tech savvy. Most of the people can speak English, so it's great. And it's very interesting that you say that, it's a huge market. Everyone wants to enter. It looks so exciting when you think 700 million users. Let's go tackle that. But no Western company has really ever been able to enter India. It's like China; they just have their own tech giants. And one of the things that I'm doing currently in India is that you can't tackle the whole market, because, like you said, regions are different. They all have their own influences, their own language, their own way of doing things. So my sort of thing here is that I'm creating a case study in Punjab, and it's like, okay, let's replicate that. And so that's kind of the approach we're taking. But I think we're actually running out of time here. Thank you, Sergey. We're running out of time here, guys. So I feel like we can talk about this all day, but we have to bring it to an end because my friend Sergey's here. But thank you so much, Sergey. And thank you, Prashant and Daniel. It was lovely sharing the panel with you.
Yeah, same here.
Thank you for interesting panel. We have to go to another session. It started pitch it will start within a couple of minutes. Guys, keep here. Yes, stay.